Excuse me, what the actual fuck are you doing in my house?
Hi, I'm AnthemOverload. You may know me for the We Deleted You inspired project, System Overload. Welcome to the video. I must say, progress has gone amazingly well between me and my team, so much that y'all can't even imagine. Your lids will flip when everything comes into fruition. Fruition? Anyways, we never planned on gaining any popularity, honestly. Now that we have, though, we've been given a newer level of responsibility with the project as a whole, and that also means I need to take my job as a director more seriously. With fans, there's always haters, and with haters, there's fans. It's a given. You can't satisfy everyone. And sadly, I've gone elbow deep in a fan base that idolizes someone who I've already talked about in the past. But that's what makes me different from most people. I master in the art of not giving a fuck kwando. That being said, sit back, relax, and I'm never gonna say that mediocre slogan again. What the fuck was that? Sit back and relax. As I tell you about the story of a man who was the closest thing to the villain of System Overload. Why'd it do that? That was weird.
Sam, look at what I've done. I think it's pretty funny. Filled with potassium, and the lost it should better run. I'm now banana lead. I'm someone you don't fuck with. And why instead you ask? Because it's funny as fuck, dude.
It was the day of I don't remember. I didn't care enough to remember when I met him. He was in the official Anthem Overload Discord server as he ended up adding me because he wanted to give me nitro. Usually I wouldn't care, but one of my friends told me he was chill, so I accepted it and got the nitro from him. Me trying to be nice, we ended up talking more, though initially it started pretty awkwardly. That might have been my fault entirely. I suck at starting conversations. Over time, though, he had shown me that he was getting into 3D modeling, and I instantly was like, wow, that's super cool! And then he offered to make a 3D model for me to use as a VTuber. I was stoked and immediately told him to, in which he did later down the line. That was the model you found at the end of saying a lot of things to Zedlin. Everything was going pretty well. He also ended up becoming a VIP in my server because of the model. Everything was fine, but then out of gradinkle shit nowhere, a problem went down. So basically, a few months ago, me and the team were having a situation where someone on the team was leaking assets to a friend without permission. That friend is this little dummy we're talking about. Come to find out, he was saving everything he was being sent and was playing it around his friends. Initially, I was furious, so I went and called him, in which he showed me that he deleted everything off of his devices. He then told me he was never going to play any confidential stuff anywhere again. That was the end of that, so I thought. I also ended up speaking to the worker who was giving these to him to begin with. They said, and I quote, they made me think it was okay. Which, at that point, I was prone to believing, considering I already found out he was playing leaked assets before the fact. Now being around this guy, it was less of a, oh man, chill out with us, and more of a, yeah, you can sit with us, I guess. Because I was too busy wanting to give him another chance and I wanted to make something work like a doofus. Time passed by, and then suddenly we noticed some artwork that he drew that took us by surprise. You see, just for context, if this doesn't already look fake, one of my friends and fellow co-worker on System Overload, Chari, made models of Edelet and Austin, those avatars being public for anyone to use. These are what the models look like. Cool, I know. Now look at the art again. It takes artists years and years to do anything like this, let alone him who said he was just starting to draw. First thought that crossed my mind was, this dude can model. What the hell is he doing tracing models? He can just use the models he makes. Or, in layman's terms,
this makes no fucking sense. What the fuck?
So my brother Vitch ended up noticing this and how elements of it were also taking parts of the System Overload art style. That got on his nerves, so like any normal person, he goes over to him and says, no, stop it. Bad tracer, bad. Which prompted this guy to then message me saying, and I quote,
Fitch accused me of tracing Empre's art even though the art I made doesn't even fully look like Empre's style.
Which like, no he didn't. So at that point it was basically, yo Anthem, Vitch is antagonizing me, you gotta believe me. When he didn't know I was fully aware of what Vitch actually did. And for people who don't know, Vitch is my brother. That's my dog right there, and it'd take a whole lot for me to think anything that would work against him. This guy who I met like the same month tried to make me believe him more than my own brother. I guess because he made the model, he thought he'd have gratuity points. Fuck if I know, it's stupid. Now that we're on the subject of what this guy was trying to do, get comfy, because it only gets crazier. Sorry, I was thirsty. So I was already pretty pissed. He pressured someone I knew into giving him unreleased content from the mod, he's been tracing over the System Overload 3D models, and to top it off, he basically tried turning me against my brother. At that point, I was already done with his silly shenanigans because I felt like a doofus for keeping him around as much as I even did. The story of this guy ended up becoming history because I banished him from everywhere involving me. I couldn't help but notice, though, that he was still super enthusiastic about System Overload, but I never paid any mind. There's already people who hate me who like System Overload as it is, so I just passed it off as that and continued on. But at the same time, I ended up taking a gander at his VR chat account only to find this as the background. Sorry, it's crunchy, this is just the only thing of it I could find. Remember this crap when the masked Chris tried pulling that? Yeah, no, if you don't know already, there's a big hive mind of We Deleted You animatic fans who still try to push that despite it being years ago.
AKA, that's glue.
Like, yo, just take this for reference. I started my career type stuff when I just turned 16. I'm gonna be 20 soon. Let that sink in, OG fans. Great, another case of I'm tight because Anthem called me out, so he's a groomer now. Nah, I ain't used to. It's goofy as fuck to watch. While talking to some of his former friends, I ended up finding out that he had a reputation of making really harsh and quick decisions on VR chat. Crazy, I know, already a bad start. And when confronted, blamed it on, and I quote, his System Overload Edeled DID alter. And the thing is, too, I wanted to believe it was some lame-ass joke he made to excuse himself. But anytime I've heard him, he always talks in the Edeled voice. Like, no kidding. It got to the point that I thought it was just his voice until I watched a video of him being confronted and his balls shrunk like 10 inches.
I don't want trouble with anybody either. I never did that in the first.
And then I found out he was being serious.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Ouija is broken, and I managed to front. He will be coming back to a lot of pain. Is someone scared? That's funny. Trust me, he's gonna have a lot more scars. Fuck you. I'm so hurt by that. Your words mean nothing. I don't fucking care. You don't want me hurting your little boy toy? Boy toy? Don't act all surprised. You're using him, aren't you? Fucking not, you fuckface. Don't you even start with me. You are using him. You're using him for your own game. Own game? The fuck? Well. It seems that Edeled called me out. What are you, shocked to know that I help him? But look, I'm not all that evil unless you make me mad. You should get some sleep. And don't worry, Ouija will be back tomorrow. On one hand, I was super glad because that meant System Overload is popular enough to have people posing as DID alters of the characters. But on the other, I was pissed because, like, why? What are you trying to accomplish? Sorry, the mask went down. Both Vitch and Chari ended up confronting him, in which he had apologized, but not before saying some dumb shit.
That you were joining the whole groomer train of calling Anthem a groomer. Is that true?
Whoa. No.
So, tell me, did you say you had a DID alter to get out of getting in trouble? Just tell me truthfully. Just tell me honestly.
Quite a few bit ago, months ago. Yeah, I did.
Were you tracing art?
For reference.
There you go.
And basically trying to pass off the Edeled alter as a joke, while admitting everything else he was doing that I described earlier. You know how it is, we stopped talking to him and what was said was done. Adding this to the weird Edeledian list. There we go. Sit tight, ladies and gentle ladies, because this is the part that'll grab your attention. You see, I thought this was the end of Mr. I have Edeled in my system and that's my excuse to manipulate people and trace over art. Okay, that was too long. Anyways, I thought that was the end of me noticing him. Suddenly, a video was released on YouTube by an anonymous account that featured what looked like a distorted picture of Henry from System Overload, followed by an unreleased song for the series. Screw you, I ain't playing it, but this is basically what it looked like. The song was made by Volume, and you know how the GOAT does it, he copyright strike that shit faster than anyone could see it.
Time for the copyright strike.
At that point, me and the team decided to try and find out how the hell this person has the song. So the first thing that came to mind was,
There's an imposter among us.
I give no fucks if you didn't like the reference. At least I didn't unironically say sus.
Just for being kinda sus.
Anywho, we suspected it was one of our team members behind it, which led us on a full-fledged investigation. Time passed, only like 3 days. We got rid of 2 inactive users and we enforced the contract I imposed for the team to go by in order to make sure this doesn't happen again. Good call I did that, by the way, because I came to find out one of the people who were on the team was someone who had a personal connection with people who hate us like everyone hates the Megamind series. And that's a lot because what the hell is this? This looks like Miraculous Ladybug. So that being said, if anything, the video being released actually helped us clean out the dev team more. The account wasn't able to get away with leaking stuff on YouTube, so it went to the one website known for having terrible moderation, toxic behavior, rage bait literally everywhere, and worst of all, Elon Musk. Twitter. Scary, I know. Remember what happened to Sprunky? I fucking hate that shit, and they doxed the creator for feeling the exact same way. Fuck that shit, yo. So after the video was taken down on YouTube, a Twitter account was made that leaked a good portion of art assets, a couple songs, and a supposed leaked build. In the build was the demo, but the only differences were that it was filled with ARG elements, had my real name in the credits, which congrats, you looked at my wiki, and had a very outdated version of what the remake of System Failure was going to sound like. And of course, the ARG elements were turned up to 11, because it wouldn't be cryptic if it looked normal. God, turn that shit off. Thank you. So to run it back, the Twitter account was made and in it were a bunch of leaks followed by a fake leaked build. Now you know I'm taking notes from Volume, yo. I DMCA'd the shit out of that account. Time for the DMCA. Now it became a matter of figuring out who it was. I had like 4 guesses before starting to believe it was someone who I was already familiar with, basically trying to be my nemesis of sorts. I almost locked in with that assumption before getting a message.
It doesn't matter anymore. I did what I wanted to do for a bit now.
What does that mean?
What do you think it means, Corn?
I don't know, man, I'm stupid.
I leaked the mod.
It's the fucking guy from before! There was no spy anymore. The people who could have been were already removed from the team. This dummy kept the shit he deleted. Damn it, we didn't check his Discord. So now with the rest taken care of, we looked back at everything on Twitter and was like, oh my god, how did we not figure this out? Give me a moment. Shut the hell up. There we go. But now knowing about this, we had to look back. This man traced over models and claimed it as his own, pressured his friends who worked on System Overload to give him leaks, tried to turn me against my own brother, and when he got called out, he jumped on the groomer train and leaked everything he had a hold of. One can only imagine who else was obviously involved.
He said on one of his streams that I made the model.
Oh shit?
Yeah, people know who I am.
Has it affected your life at all? Like, do people avoid you now because of it?
Yeah, and I've been dealing with the drama since and it pisses me off. Some people bring it up for no reason.
You know why I do this? My idol, AnthemOverload. He called me out for manipulating people and tracing art because of my Edeled altar. And I haven't been able to catch a break since. People know me, and I haven't been able to live it down. So this is my final encore. My revenge to the bastard who I used to look up to. The man who showed my actions have consequences.
Head-ass explanation. This guy has a whole evil backstory and everything. This guy's dead-ass syndrome. Think about it. This guy has a whole backstory, a made-up alter ego, and this whole elaborate plan that he's trying to execute. And it's even funnier when you realize, I forgot to mention that his name is Shadow. A corny-ass villain named Shadow. With symbols and stuff, so it's harder to type his name when banning it. This makes me secondhand shocked that none of this crap is scripted. This is a real person with a real life and real friends. Wait, what? Oh, okay. And a real bed he sleeps in. How is this real? How is he real? And yet, I'm too amused to be offended. I can't take a damn thing seriously when all I had to do was take legal action for there to be a resolve. And to think he ended up showing up again to execute his maniacal plan to get back at me for calling him out for his wacky, stupid, doofy-ass shenanigans. Like, yo, what fucking nincompoop poses a mental disorder, grabs confidential assets from a project he likes, traces over art while still being good at modeling, and then leaks everything when he gets repercussed? This goofy motherfucker, this silly little dipshit. And yet the best part to me is the fact that he executed it right after I uploaded Ediled has a present. The audience was already looking at System Overload, and now with word of mouth saying it was leaked, it grabbed the attention of even more people. All this funny-ass hoo-ha did was promote the mod without us needing to do anything. In this goofball's attempt to get back at me, he ended up helping me and my team out by reminding me to clear up the members and publicized us at the best possible timing. Congratulations, your plan backfired. But to be fair, knowing the full context now, it's more funny to see if anything. I felt more threatened when someone made a tweet thread calling me ableist and the first thing it said was, "Sadly, I lack info." And that's something that happens like every week by people who are pissed because I don't let them be weird in my fan base. You can only pull off the same stunt so many times before it stops affecting anyone, you feel me? And yet if this clown wants to be the Rob to my gumball, I won't stop him. Unlike a lot of my haters, I spend time off the internet with my parents and stuff. It's pretty fun actually, more people should do it. And either way, it's amusing how doofy he looks while trying. The only people who stand with him are people who are equally as toxic and people who, frankly, have given the Ediled scene a bad name. Good, they can stay at a System Overload. We're better than them anyways. Regardless of anything that's happened or could happen, it's gonna make zero difference to what happens with me or System Overload. That's what makes a passion project, and I care too much about the hard work me and my friends have done for me to just quit. If it were that easy for me to win over, I would have given up years ago. I care too much about what makes me and my friends happy to stop now. But I guess that's the problem with trying to defy death. The Grim Reaper doesn't know when to quit. And this is the story of a man who's the closest thing to a cartoony villain in real life. I know, it's super underwhelming when it's put in fruition, right? Sorta like the same idea as making anime girls real.
Why are you scared? Isn't this what you wanted?
I hope I was entertaining enough, nerds. Let this be a moral lesson not to be like this guy. You can be leagues better. You just gotta give enough of a crap to go for it. Life is entirely based on your decisions, and how it turns out is a byproduct. Make it something that you can be proud of. Oh, and Shadow, I know you're watching this. So, like, when do you plan on calming down? You're not really making shit better for you, my guy. You're just looking silly as fuck in the eyes of everyone else that ain't in your clique. Funny. You hype System Overload so much and yet you hate my guts like I'm your nemesis. But keep it up, I'm not going anywhere. And besides, you're sticking to your name well, Shadow, because you'll always be under mine. Thanks for watching, nerds. If you sneezed, bless you. I stole that from... Stole one of Chari's animations on TikTok once and claimed it as his own. And get this, so I was streaming FPES, which I do a lot, and Shadow popped in spamming messages like, lol, your mod got leaked, and when none of us were humoring him, alt accounts then proceeded to downright dox me Sprunky style with 7 different alt accounts. It's people like these that are lucky that what they're doing is online, or they'd be behind bars by now. Okay, now I'm closing off the video. See ya, Oh, hey, Volume. Wait, what are you doing? What?
And also, for the record, I never fucking trusted you for a moment. The shit went down when you pressured Night Owl into leaking everything, and even when I was pissed as a bitch at her because I thought she did it on her own accord, I still never trusted you. Even when I tried to tell Anthem something was wrong with you and he was like, no, he's clear, he apologized, you were never fucking clear, and I knew the entire time. I already knew you were gonna try to use the fact that you were gonna pay him just to get him on your good side, and then use him to manipulate everyone in your community, and then make everything how you want, you stupid little shit. And I should have known you were trouble when you admitted to dropping out of high school. Were you trying to be a fucking hood rapper? And I guess you're fitting your name well, Shadow. One can only exist when light is shining on an object, and I know you did everything in your power to shine the light on us just so you can exist one last time. Well, thanks for the free promotion, you piece of shit.